I hate old people.
Why? You'll be one day, you know.
Because I met you, Mum.
You didn't meet a
You
Liv.
didn't meet me. I brought you into this world. Have some respect.
Mate, you're getting wrecked by your own mum.
So you basically ruined my life by giving me existence, so I have to think about death every day, Mum. Thanks.
Hey, you're right, guys. Trophy Munchers here, and today we're doing our first, as I said, movie review of 2017. These aren't really professional reviews because we're not professional reviewers, believe it or not. I like to think we are, but we're not. This is for A Silent Voice, which came out, I want to say,
On the 15th in the UK, but came out in that December last year.
December last year in Japan, and then, yeah, it came out a couple of days ago.
Limited release for like a day.
And we just checked, it's not even out in America yet, is it?
Don't think it is.
It might be, but I don't know. So this and Your Name are two animated films that I've really wanted to see in the past few months. Your Name obviously just became the highest grossing animated film of all time.
And I mentioned Silent Voice.
You brought this up. You've read the manga,
yeah.
or you read most of the manga before you saw this. You stopped at a certain point because you wanted to see what would happen in the film. I didn't even know it was a manga till he told me. I saw the trailer for it, didn't think much of it. Went into the cinema, didn't expect much, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be like, cool. Came out, and I said this to you when we came out. I thought it was a great film. I think I gave it a 7.9 out of 10. But it's one of those that I've been thinking about more, and I've brought this up till this point to tell you. But I've been thinking about it more, talking about it more, and I think it deserves the 8 out of 10. Just because this film's different, so I think. Just because of that reason, it's different to anything else.
My opinion of it is obviously one of the things I went into is I was going to compare it to the manga because I've read the manga. One of the things I'm going to do is compare.
Yeah.
And I think this movie did a brilliant job with the pacing. There was a few things I didn't like about it, like a few flaws.
Yeah.
But
we'll get into
one thing is that I went in and they cut out the right stuff. The stuff they cut out was stuff that needed to be cut out. It was just wasted time for a movie.
Yeah.
And they kept a good amount. And they even did scenes better than it was done, especially the start, the first 15 minutes is done way better than it is in the manga.
Yeah.
But the characters, the thing what I love most about it is that I expected more of a romance, but I also understood it wasn't a romance. It's a story about redemption.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, this is a story about. It's set in two different time periods. The first 15 is about 15-20 minutes in it.
Yeah.
It's set with these two characters in their school years, and the main girl, she's deaf and she's new to the school. And the main guy bullies her throughout all of his school years.
The side character, all the cast.
And all the side characters there as well. And then it skips. I think it's 4 or 5 years later.
Because they're like 8.
Okay, it's way. Yeah, that's way later then. Yeah, that makes sense. It skips a few years later.
Basically, Karma goes back on and he ends up being bullied.
Yeah, so he's kind of got like no friends, and then it's about him trying to redeem that and kind of
redemption. One thing I do like about what they struggle. One thing I thought they would struggle to do if make it out where it's just doing him for himself to make himself feel better.
Yeah,
that could have came off really bad, but they did it to a point where when like, oh, he's not trying to make himself feel, but he genuinely
wants to. Like,
he genuinely wants to redeem himself, and redeeming himself was. I thought would be more difficult than it actually was. Like, I think he redeemed himself.
Like you said, you were not worried, but going into the film, you were like, are we going to... Because the main character is a dick for the first, 15-20 minutes. It's like, after those 20 minutes, are you going to even want to like this guy for the rest of the film?
There's some people who can't get over what he did.
Yeah, so they're just like, oh no, I'm never going to get like this character.
Like, he's easily offended by bullying.
So
this will probably... But people need to understand it's something called character development. You do mistakes through life.
Yeah,
and he's doing one thing what many people can't do, that he tried to redeem himself. I'm sure people who've bullied before haven't went out of the way to go back to that person.
Yeah, I think that's why I think it deserves the 8, because it is a unique story that I've not seen even like in live action films in general.
Yeah.
Like that I haven't seen. I'm sure there are ones that like this out there, but
one thing I do wish there was a bit more romance, but like I said, it wasn't a romance.
Yeah, this is like I say, redemption story. So.
It was quite, but. Yeah, like I said, it was different. It was I never really seen bullying anime. The art style in it was great.
Yeah, the art style was fantastic. The music as well.
We're going to go into I'm just going to go into a flaw, which was the side characters, in my opinion. Because I've read the manga, Joe hasn't.
Yeah.
In the manga's longer, so you have more time for the side characters.
Keep in mind this is a 2-hour
movie. There's a lot of side characters, and they sort of just like force. They need to be there because the plot can't progress without them, but they're so underdeveloped. Apart from his friend, his best friend. Which I preferred him in the movie. I thought he wasn't too annoying, He was funny when he needed to be, but
Yeah.
not like hilarious. But like
He got a few laughs
and
in the
he,
cinema.
and he felt like a friend. He felt like a guy. Like
Yeah, he
friend
wasn't
to be
just
there.
forced in there. Like, oh, we need a friend for him. Shove
Like
one
just
in.
then when he tries to get like, there's a bit where he gets him into the door to meet the girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it's just like he doesn't seem forced or pushy. And then this sister of the main girl, deaf girl, she was
Yeah,
pretty
she
cool.
was great. She's one of my
And even
favourite
the mums were alright, but it's like
Yeah,
People-
I know what you mean. Like with a 2 hour film, it's going to be because there's so many side characters. There are definitely some that I think were not developed at all. They were just kind of there, but they definitely did a good job with the ones that were developed. They did a great job with those.
they gave him enough screen time.
Yeah.
And I love the main girl. And
The main
guy.
girl, yeah, both of them were just fantastic. We haven't seen the dubbed version. It's just I didn't know it doesn't have
sub,
dub yet, does it?
no.
So there's no dub for it yet. So it's just the sub.
There is
but-
going to be dub with the release the Blu-ray, and it's got a dub with it.
Okay, that's good. When's Blu-ray out?
December next year.
Okay. Oh god, of course it is. But yeah, the two main characters I think they did a fantastic job with. Like you said, it could have been a flop if you never connected with the main character because of those first.
But even
20
then,
minutes.
you could still hold up the girl just to see the girl. She was a great
Yeah.
character. I think like she can't talk very well because obviously she's never heard her own voice.
Yeah, I don't know how certain words.
Like an example, what in the spoiler, but when she sings early on in the story, it's like she's singing, but because she just sees people's heads bobbing, she thinks that's when to start. And it's like a competition,
Yeah.
even to win this singing competition. She can't sing very well because she can't hear her own voice. She starts too early because she just sees everyone on, but she enjoys it. One thing I do miss, like in the manga will have, if you like subtle details or extra scenes, in the manga it would like show her she practices a singing voice, as like over the years
Yeah.
she gets really good. Couldn't add stuff like that. That's a lot
Yeah,
of things that
just
were missed out.
stuff you have to kind of think.
But there was
what's going
also
on.
a lot of extra content what wasn't needed, which they cut out, which was good.
Yeah. So we are going to obviously jump into spoilers. Well, I say obviously.
We go a bit more. What do you think of the animation sound again? Like, go a bit more in depth.
And,
I think the animation was very solid, like throughout.
It's not something I look at and go, that's a unique art style though. It's just kind of, as far as films go, animated films, and on about TV shows obviously, but it did just look like an animated film. They are that good quality.
Some of the scenery
So-
did look very good. Like
Yeah.
some of the shots,
And I
the
know,
angles.
yeah, it's one of those, like, obviously you can't compare an anime film, you have to kind of compare it to Studio Ghibli, because it's like the hierarchy. What Studio Ghibli does a good job of is, I think, like, background design, and, like, everyone moving, and there wasn't really a time where I kind of looked at someone and went, that looks like a TV show, those background characters aren't moving, I've obviously tried to save budget there, there wasn't really a time like that, so, yeah, the animation's solid, and
Yeah, before we go into spoilers, would you recommend the film?
I'd recommend it. Yeah, easily. I was speaking about my mum and my sister. They appreciate animated films, but they're not really a fan of them. I was explaining this film to them, and I didn't tell them it was an animation. I told them what the plot was, told them what happened, like without spoilers.
Yeah.
And they said they wanted to watch it, and then I told them it was an animated film, and that actually made them want to watch it more because I think some of the stuff that I kind of explained would work more in an animated film.
Yeah, I didn't feel
so-
cheesy at all throughout this movie.
No.
That could have been something that could have been like, there's no way he could redeem himself after what he did, but like the way, I just think how he redeemed himself and the ending. Two figures I have for the ending. Just say I like the ending, but wish for that a bit more. But
Yeah,
that's in the
I
spoilers.
like the ending.
I explain why in the spoilers. But, yeah.
I think the ending could have been great. I think the ending could have given it that high rating. I think it was a good ending. I think
Like
it
it's
could
a
have been
good
lot
ending
better.
scene,
Yeah,
but I wanted that after credit scene.
Yeah, I wanted that
needed that
after
after
credit
credit scene. They didn't give it me. You should have heard everyone in the audience just like
everyone was sat there waiting.
waiting for the end, waiting for the credits. Like,
And then the music. There's this one scene where the music kicks in. Fantastic.
yeah, I really like
That's the one.
soundtrack. I need to listen. I need to watch the movie again to pick up.
There
on
was
some
that
of the
one song.
songs.
There's like one or two
One
songs
song
that,
that I really liked, and also one thing they have in this movie is a relationship between you don't really like the bully, but in the one thing with the bully you see in it, like you can she's a hit or miss character, but one thing I do like the spin on it is like she's doing the same thing that he's trying to get. She's trying to redeem herself with him, but he's rejecting her. But he's trying to redeem himself from the girl. But if she just decided to reject him and said piss off.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. Like, I like how the mum and sister react. Like, when the mum and sister in it, they're not just like, oh, look, she's with the boy what bullied her. They're like, shit, what's he doing there? And try and stop him from getting... Because you would. If I was like the brother or sister of that girl who was bullied and the bully came back, you know, it's going to accept him with open
Like, oh,
arms.
come on then, we'll let you off. That was a few years ago. It's like, no.
Well, like, I never thought the mum was being too bitchy or like...
Yeah, because the way he goes about bullying her is brutal. It's not like
Yeah, I'm not gonna
it's
say
not
that.
like a little bit like it's there you go.
Like, even to be fair, even in the manga, it's even worse because it goes on for a bit longer and it does even worse stuff.
Yeah,
but
I'm
in
glad
the
they-
anime,
I don't
they
think-
didn't make it too bad.
They didn't need more than they had.
Yeah,
It was fine.
I think they didn't. The pacing, I think, in the second half of the middle was a bit.
Yeah, I told Liam this, but I think it started great. There is and then obviously when it does the time skip, still great. But there was a bit in the middle where it definitely dipped down, where it kind of focused on side characters that I didn't care about too much. that's where it kind of lost a bit of its reins.
Yeah, the main six, the six group of friends he had, three were very uninteresting.
Three were just there that I never cared about, and three
even in the manga, I didn't care about them.
Yeah, so
I think the only one who suffers from the screen time loss is the bully, because she was in it too much. From how much they developed her, but if they developed her as much as in the manga, she'd probably be better.
Yeah, I never cared for you'll know when you see it, or if you have seen it, the girl bully. Never cared for her character. And for 1 second,
there's like a few. There's a few. I just like some of the subtle scenes. It's like they don't have to throw it in your face. Just like the subtleness.
So I think that's. So I will go 8 out, because I did say 7.9 initially because of the ending, but think about it. I will give it the 8 out of 10. Just because comparing it to other animated films as well, there's some that are very generic and fun. This is, I think, is a unique story. So.
And it's like I know it's not romance again, but it's another way to have a look at a romance, like a relationship between two people. Because sometimes they get boring when it's just the same.
Yeah. And you're giving it
I'll give it
an 8 as well. Okay, cool. So 8 out of 10 across the board. If you haven't seen it, I do recommend seeing it. Even if you don't really like animated films, just check it out just because of the story.
There's a few flaws in the films that could have made it a 9, but it weren't enough to like, oh, this is shit.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen it, step off now. Whatever, thanks for watching. But we are going to get into a few spoilers. Major spoilers because of the ending. So if you have seen the film, obviously you can let us know what you thought about these certain aspects of the film. But it ends. So everyone's gone. It ends kind of. He's kind of friends with everyone at the end.
Well, what I use exactly? He has something like crosses on people's faces, like because what happens is he got bullied. No, he bullied the girl. Everyone in class bullied her. But when he went a bit too far and he injured her, everyone was like, they're not going to admit that they was part of it. No, so they all sort of like turned on him. And then he got bullied.
And then when he went to secondary school, he obviously had no friends going on.
Obviously in secondary school, they passed on saying, oh, he's a bully, and spread shit about him. So he ended up in this phase where he's like, he always had his head down, he couldn't look people in the eye or... Yeah. So he had X's on people's faces, this little effect where they put X's off people he didn't care about. Which I thought was
really...
Like a unique way.
I said to him as well, if they just had... Because the end scene, if you've seen it, obviously all the X's kind of come off towards the end. But if they just had it where those X's weren't there, and it just ends with him looking up, but the X's weren't there, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
That ending scene would not have had the same effect. It's because when he looks up, all the X's just kind of fall.
Yeah, he finally forgives himself. Because one thing it does on this thing, the one thing I like about the main girl is that, but I also find quite sad at the same time, and you can see where her point of view comes from. She blamed herself, that she thought she was the problem.
Yeah.
And then he thought he was in the wrong, because he was. But she generally thought she was the problem, because obviously, like, from her point of view, like, she's ruined these people. She ruined his life, technically. Everyone hates him. There's even a scene where she's scrubbing his table repeatedly. You don't know why she's scrubbing his table. She's trying to hide the hate of people. Because she always came up to him trying to make friends with him. But then, like, a few scenes, because at the start of the film, he wrote a really mean thing on the board, then wiped it off and was like, oh, someone put something mean about it, wiped it off.
So she never really saw it as him bullying her, which is really weird. She never saw it like...
I think she knew.
She knew, but like you said, she
blamed herself.
Herself,
because obviously it weren't just him, everyone was ignoring her. So obviously when everyone just like sort of ignores you, it's like you think she's the one. Now there is a bit of iffiness with suicide in the film. I think I understand where the characters are coming from, but I think it was a bit... It led to a great scene, but it's just like, I don't think...
No, that scene was great. That scene was great. Right, I think that the way this film deals, the main theme is obviously, well, I'd say is depression.
Oh no, it's redemption, depression.
Yeah, depression, suicidal thoughts and all that. There is a scene where she's about to commit suicide. But even after that, and then there are times before that as well, I wouldn't say that it's beating you over the head with it, because it doesn't really, but it is brought up a lot about like them wanting to kill themselves. The main character goes through it a couple of times.
Twice. I think he tries to kill himself at the start.
Yeah, and then
later. He's not going to kill himself later. I think he's just like...
He kind of talks about it though.
It's like, I understand, but I think it was just...
There were a lot of scenes talking about suicide.
Not a lot.
Really. No, I don't want to say a lot.
We're saying like it's a lot. It's probably made it like 10 minutes. Yeah. It just felt...
It felt like a big theme, but that is one of the themes of this film. So
but I also understand where the character... They give you enough like insight of where the characters are coming from. Like, the main reason she goes towards the suicide route is because obviously he just made all his new friends again, everything's all back to normal, and then suddenly, because he blames himself so much for what happened, he sort of bursts out at everyone, because obviously everyone's done something wrong, in a way, and he sort of bursts out at him, and then she blames herself for him doing that. But I do love the scene, like one scene when obviously she's about to jump, and then that scene was really...
With the fireworks and then...
And then him grabbing her, and then him slipping straight after. I was like, oh,
I like
shit.
the way the curtain came up and then both gone. So you don't know what happened for about 5 seconds. You just stayed on that shot. You're like, what happened? And then obviously he falls instead, and so on. And I said to him as well at that time, I genuinely thought it could have not ended, but she could.
We watched a lot of anime where
Yeah. Either one of those two would have died, and I wouldn't have been surprised by it. Because even at the start of the film, I was like, this could have a sad ending, really. Because I haven't read the manga, I didn't know what would happen, and you didn't know what would happen at that point. He stopped just before that scene on the manga. So yeah, I think it could have been quite easily had a sad ending. I'm glad it didn't. I'm glad it did have a happy ending.
I love the moments between the main girl. Like, I really loved the way they interacted.
She was so good.
Like, I love the way how she talked. I love the voice actor for the Japanese. I think, like, how it came across, like, you can tell how he dealt with her. And, like, obviously, he's nervous about the whole film. Like, imagine trying to go up to someone you bullied and trying to deal with him. Like, you could tell in his face, like, the facial expressions he was using, the way he talked to her, like, he felt...
Yeah.
Like, he tried.
Guilty about
it. He genuinely tried.
You can tell the stuff. I think this is my biggest flaw with the actual film, is the actual ending itself. Not because I thought the ending was bad, but me and you both said when we got out, we know it's not a romance film, but there is a scene early on where she says "I love you" to him. Like, that's said
also,
very early on.
Obviously, he doesn't understand what she said because she's stressed and like she says it, and I was like, yeah, that was a great scene, but I wanted her to at least not to even get together, so at least like say it again.
But yeah, before what was it? Yeah, when that was said in the film, I was like, oh, I'm sure they'll pick up on that later. They'll bring that up towards the end of the film as like the big, oh, I love you moment, romance and all that shit. But it was never kind of brought up again. Like there was nothing from him to kind of give a hint that he liked her. And like I think
he liked her.
He did, but it was never like clarified.
He just wanted to be a friend more.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. So I can't really blame the film for that because it's not going for the romance film. But when that scene happened, I thought they'd pick up on it later, and that's why when we said we'll think there'll be an after credit scene where they're kind of just together in a way, like to kind of show, oh, they are together, is happy. But it didn't show any of that, which I was kind of disappointed about in a way. But
off the main couple bit, I did really enjoy the little sister. I thought, like I said before, in the other bit, like I like how she treats the brother, like, and then she has her own little story arc with the whole.
Well, she could have so easily been a throwaway character.
She's obviously has a few problems of her own. She's a short, and she's obviously had to deal with stuff from when her granny dies and stuff. You see how she deals with that, and she tries to change herself for the better.
Yeah.
And it's just like, also with some of the other themes with it, it's like bringing back there's some of the stuff he did to redeem himself, and then like I'm babbling on that, but like I said, the ending with the crosses, that was a great scene. Like he finally looks up because he covers his own ears, blocking out the world around him.
You can't
hear.
He
looks down, and then he finally looks up for the first time, and it's just like, oh, that's really good. He's changed himself. What he can do is like it says in the title scene, like you can change by. Learning. I like that fact he just went. He learned sign language to talk to her.
Yeah, that was cool.
He met her every Tuesday.
Yeah,
he did sign language quite a bit.
Before that, he never showed him practicing it.
I liked how like he, when they would talk, when she would talk, like because she found her voice weird. She'd avoid talking, but she would still lip what she was saying.
Yeah,
but she would when she said it outside, and there's some like awkward, cute moments like that between them. Like obviously when they first meet and she runs away and hides, or like when she talks and he says, "Oh, do you find my voice weird?" It's like, he didn't mean it like I found those bits like great. I liked it when it was just scenes with just those two.
Yeah, they were the best scenes, I think. So.
But I also loved his scenes with his best friend because I felt like a friendship. Like just the fact when someone goes to touch him, and he's like, "This is my friend." And I loved it when he brought his bike back. Like after they had a weird way of dealing with it. Instead of him going up to the buddy and going, get off him." I mean, like, no, he's just like, just hit my bike.
Yeah.
And then then the friend comes back later with his bike.
Yeah, that's cool. I like their friendship was good. Like I said, I think out of all the side characters, the three I didn't connect with the two, the blonde hair and the red hair. They were just kind of there. I don't think they really tried with them two. And the bully they tried with, but there was never a time where
I think she needed more development and she couldn't get it because of the screen time.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. She was in it a lot.
Yeah, but
they just did the same thing over it. It's just her bullying her. Like I get it, and then even towards the end of the film, it's still like I hate you, but I guess that's okay. Like, oh, we're meant to like her now then. I don't know if they were ending the film for you to like her as a character, but...
Like I said to Joe, her point of her character was just to do a parallel universe of like... What he's doing for her, she's trying to do... Because obviously, because he gets bullied, so he loses his two best friends. She sort of betrays him by like going against him, but she was always great because she fancied him. So she comes back later trying to get him to meet his friend again. Yeah, she sets him up like he sets her, the main girl, with her best friend, but he's more rejected of it, and he has to learn that.
Yeah.
Because being girl could just went straight like no.
No, that's what I get. I
know
why
what I
she's
need to
there.
get, but she did take up a lot of time.
But yeah, she took away too much time, and it was a lot of kind of the same scenes over and over. I think you could have cut out half of her screen time and had it more to the main two, and I would have actually preferred.
But she was needed to progress some of the storyline, obviously with the main girls, showing the main girls, getting the main girls' actual thoughts out.
Yeah.
Because she just kept, like you just said, she kept apologising when nothing was her fault. She was always like, "I'm sorry, but it weren't your fault. It was."
I think that's my major flaw is the bully character. Just not half film, but 1/3 is kind of spent with her, with at least one of the other.
She's normally there, isn't it?
Yeah. So. Yeah,
it might make that feel longer because you have to take a second watch it because I don't think she's in it that much, but it just feels like.
Yeah, but she is. She does seem like she's in it a lot. I don't know if I need to rewatch it, but. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything.
Yeah, the hospital scene on the bridge was good. Just I loved all the bridge scenes. Anything where they were together. It's just like when they jump off the bridge and just like.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
The Notebook. I like the touches on the Notebook. I actually really genuinely cared for the Notebook.
Yeah, that's cool. And you want more to their story. I think that's a good way of like you do want more. So if film or TV series can do that, yes, you've done your job right at least. So.
But yeah, the relationship was probably just strong. The relationship between the two characters, how he was redeeming himself. And even the first 20 minutes of the bullying was interesting to something I've not seen really in like. Obviously, you see like the over the top bullying in every show, like in between us, like that. This was actually serious bullying where it could affect someone. It's affected.
Yeah, there's just little things like where he blew the paper into it.
Even taking the earplugs, what worth.
That was where it got the worst. Was where he started throwing that out her ear.
When the one scene I did like with the bully is when she comes along and takes the earplugs again and starts messing about with it, thinking the main character will join in.
Yeah, but he's like, no.
And then he's like, he takes the earplugs back and he goes, "Can you stop?"
Yeah, that was.
Like you could just see the character development from when he was a little brat.
So that was yeah. I think that's cool. And like I said, the mum characters were cool as well. A little sad. It
just really helped. Like very few times has it helped out understand characters' point of views that well in just a short movie. Like I can understand where the line of thought comes from such different perspectives, which is normally quite hard to do in film. Normally, if you don't like. You don't understand that, fuck off.
Yeah, true.
Bit of a long review, but...
Oh no, we want to go... I don't want to just try and force a short review just for the sake of it, so that's our kind of thoughts on A Silent Voice. Like I say, if you haven't seen it, well, if you haven't seen it, you won't be watching it.
It'd be quite hard to see, to be honest, because you can't legally stream it, and I wouldn't say do it. I'd say support the Blu-ray release in December. There's another limited release on the 21st in the UK, so you can book your tickets.
Yeah, and I'm not sure about release dates in America yet. So
if you want to watch it in Britain, just keep going Anime Limited website, and they keep showing tickets because there's a limited. So I don't even think it's going to be in the UK that much longer. I think it's maybe 2 more screenings, even maybe
one screening in the cinema we were at.
It was meant to be 15th. No, they added another screening.
They added another one after because it's sold out. Obviously, but.
Yeah, it was packed. Like I didn't think it'd be.
No, every seat was full.
Every seat full. Even the front seats were. Yeah. Because obviously when you book, because obviously you don't advertise films like that because there's only one screening, you can't advertise it, so it's just like surprised that so many people showing up.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's mainly if you're in London, you're fucking loving it. There's fucking
all the screenings. Yeah, there's a lot.
In America, I think it might come out later down the line. Depends who licenses.
It hasn't got.
I don't know how the licenses work because I don't understand why it didn't get a full movie screening because it's a good film and I've seen some crap in cinema. That's getting full screenings.
But not this. It's just like
but I don't know if it's something like licensing. Like, can they not do it?
Don't ask me, mate. I don't know more than I know. So yeah, obviously we'll be reviewing Your Name as well when that comes out later on.
Which is another thing. It's not a romance. It's but it is. They learn. Probably true. That sounds interesting to me. They learn.
We'll wait and see about that one. So yeah, thanks for watching, there, guys. Leave a like, enjoy. Let me know. Or let us know what you thought of the film down below if you have seen it. Or tweet me. You don't have to, unfortunately, because you're a noob. Yeah, so until next time, guys. Peace.